Hi, everyone. How many of you have, in the past 24 hours or so, found yourselves scrolling through your phone when suddenly you come across something that makes you a little sad? Maybe it's a climate disaster that unfortunately our governments just don't have the budget to do anything about, or a war somewhere on the other side of the planet. Now, ask yourselves, after scrolling through that, did you continue scrolling through your reels? Maybe within the next 3 seconds or so, you found a clip of Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, or something along those lines. I know I've been there. Now, the real question that sometimes keeps me up at night is this a symptom of a greater cancer? What does it say about us when we can see these terrible things 1 second and then move on with our day like nothing has happened? I research how systems of power work to better understand why certain things have gravity and why other things just disappear. It is a fancy way of saying that I ask who benefits when we can't look away from our phones. When I started my research, it was to look at how the market turns human pleasure into something that you can buy. But the deeper that I dug, the more I realized that this exact logic governs how we process everything around us, and in particular, governs how we consume suffering. I'm going to make a claim that's sure to offend some of you, but I just couldn't find a gentler way of saying it. We consume suffering the same way we consume pornography. And I'm not saying that we enjoy it. No, we're not monsters. I am saying, though, that the underlying mechanisms are the same. Let me explain. I want you to picture a farmer's market, maybe the Vismarkt on a Saturday morning. There are stalls all around you, tomatoes, bread. Maybe as you walk by, you sample a piece of cheese. Afterwards, you move on. That is the deal. You are the consumer, and all of these goods are on display for you. Now, I want you to picture that farmer's market again, except instead of fresh produce, you're being served a mass shooting designed to make you gasp, a headline about another disaster somewhere, edited for maximum impact. You walk through this market as you scroll through your feeds on your phones every single day. And then your thumb moves and it takes you to the next stall, the one selling the Bad Bunny video or anything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the market of flesh. It is the most profound market that humans have ever built. It's so efficient. Now, in this market, there are reels all around you, market stalls for acres and acres. Why? On the internet, there's endless amounts of content for you to consume. Now, I know that the title of my talk is a little bit of a mouthful, but I want to promise you that the wording choice is deliberate. I'm going to start with the first one, because I know that it's the one a lot of people are a little uncomfortable by. Porn is the most useful analogy we have for understanding why so many of us are so burnt out all of the time. The philosopher Foucault spent a lot of his time thinking about how power operates through sex. And his key insight was this: pornography, it isn't really about what people like in real life. It is about a specific way of consuming a performance that was meant to entertain you. If you really think about it, the whole idea is a little ridiculous. Sex is the closest that two human bodies could physically ever be. Pornography takes that, the most intimate of human acts, and turns it into something that you can buy. There is no before or after. There's just the act, stripped of any context, and served to you for your viewing pleasure. Now, people don't watch pornography because they want to learn something about the people on screen. They watch it to chase a feeling. The actor is just the delivery mechanism. Their bodies, their faces, it's all just fuel for yours. Now, the brain, like any muscle, exhausts itself on the same stimulus. And so, the threshold for what holds our attention must keep getting stronger. And what's happening today is that we are being incrementally blinded by a light that must keep shining brighter for us to see anything at all. Today, it's no longer just about porn. We see it in everything we do, how we process emotions, and all that we see. So, when you're on Instagram and you see a video of a child in Gaza, what do you actually really know about that child? Their names? Sometimes. Their faces? Sure, if they're not censored. What they wanted to be if they'd had the chance to grow up? What their favorite color was? No. There's just the headline, the attention grabber, and then you move on. You feel something for exactly as long as it takes for the next video to load. Now, if that was the whole story, it would be pretty bleak, wouldn't it? Yeah, it does sound pretty depressing. But the good news is, once you name the game, you can choose to stop playing. So here's what this does to us, the consumers of this market. Now, online, the categories that you see on your feed, they don't appear by magic. With every scroll, with every like, comment, and share, you're not discovering who you are. You're deciding. My feed is full of human rights content. Therefore, I'm a human rights person. Now, we think that by engaging with these things, we're showing we care. We think we're actually doing something. But in reality, we are being trained. We get a piece of content, 3 seconds, and we move on. Rinse and repeat. Think about how many of these 3-second segments you've had in your day-to-day life. Now check your screen time. Was it more than 4 hours? Yeah, I bet so. This brings me to the next part. Power is who benefits from this market. Spoiler alert, it's not you. It's definitely not me. It's the people who've built fortunes on your inability to look away. Now, the people who built your feed, they don't need you to be cruel. They just need you to keep watching. Because in a free platform, this is where the money is. If you really think about it, if you felt the death of every child you ever saw on social media the same way you'd feel the death of a loved one, you'd put your phone down. And so they give you just enough feeling to keep the scroll going. It's a sensation that pricks you, but never fully pierces you. And so, suffering is this one great abstract thing. Researchers have looked into this, and the average time that any piece of content holds your attention from before you move on, it's about 3 seconds. Now, I want you to count down with me. 3, 2, 1. Did that feel like a long time? Yeah, I bet it did. In this silent auditorium full of people, 3 seconds is forever. And that's because I'm standing here, you're looking at me, and there's nowhere to scroll. But online, 3 seconds is absolutely nothing. 3 seconds is the space between a dead child and a dancing dog. Suffering has been compressed into the same attention span as a cat video. Now, this brings me to the next part of my speech, the one that connects to the theme of memory, which sometimes keeps me up at night, and which I think about more than I'd like to. All of this, it's no longer just about what we're consuming in the moment. It is about what we're actively losing. Memory itself. Our feeds give us a catalog of things, each fighting for your attention. This is a funny video. It's your cue to laugh. Oh, this one is so sad. This one is supposed to make you angry. Each of these things is designed to elicit an emotion from you. And we think that by engaging with all of these things, we're absorbing them. But in order to be consumed efficiently, the stories behind all of this need to be stripped of context entirely. And so, memory becomes a commodity. The ice bucket challenge becomes just another hashtag. Black squares and purple profile pictures become the trend. Oh, but if I put those up, I'm staying informed. I know what I'm doing. I'm helping. But are we really? Do we remember the reason we put them up to begin with? I don't think so. The reality is we are forgetting faster than any generation in human history. Memory has been industrialized because the machines behind our algorithms want us to keep scrolling and watching and losing track of the time all around us. Here's something that I learned from my research. The algorithm doesn't just want you to scroll. Well, scrolling is where the money is, but it wants you to be alone. And this doesn't make sense in the moment. It sounds like a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but bear with me. Real memory requires depth and time. It requires sitting with something long enough for it to change you and to take root. The messy, complicated context gets scrapped to the side because it just won't fit in a 3-second reel. And so it gets pre-packaged and redistributed to you. Now, why does my feed want me alone? Well, it's simple. The more alone you are, the more easy you are to manage. When you're alone, the cycle is easy. You scroll, you forget, and you repeat. The average attention span is about 3 seconds. I ask you to stay for 4. 4 seconds is enough to decide, I think this moment might matter. It's enough to decide to choose to put the phone down. And hey, after those 4 seconds are over, maybe call up a friend and ask how they're doing. Wait for an answer. Not just the, oh ja, gaat wel answer. The one that takes more than 3 seconds to stay. Personally, I started doing potlucks. And the reason for that is because when you're at a potluck, you can't scroll. Your hands are full of some questionable kimchi brown sugar lasagna I've made. You're surrounded by actual people. And then something happens that never happens on your feed. Someone says something that stops you, that really stops you. And instead of fading into obsolescence, a real person stays in that moment with you. This is the politics of remembering. It's not about carrying all of it alone. We can't. It's about choosing what you want to carry. And it's about building a community of people who are willing to do it with you. We are, after all, social creatures. So, if the feed wants your attention, if it wants you alone, and if it wants your time, we shouldn't be so eager to give it up willingly. I ask you to give it something to chew on. Give it that 1 extra second. To all my friends in the audience, you know where I live. You're always welcome at my dining table, and I'd love to see you at my next one. I promise that I'm eating very well, and I hope all of you are too. So the next time you find yourselves on your phone and you feel that emptiness just kind of settling in on you, I want you to think about the life you could have lived if you weren't on your phone. Think about what you could have done with those 4 hours, the product of those 3 seconds that build up every day. You deserve to live a life that is warm and rich, and I hope you take that opportunity for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, stay for 4.